Hi, welcome back to another Underground Virtuosos video. My name is Paul. I'm a violin viola teacher located in San Diego, California. So today we're going to be talking about beginner symptoms part 1. We're going to focus extra on one of the symptoms that occur a lot for many students that are trying to start out and learn the violin or the viola. So let's get started. The symptom today is going to be bow bouncing. Now, it's not spiccato where we actually purposely bounce the bow to produce a certain type of bow stroke for us. It's going to be about bow bouncing because we're not having enough control over it. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing for you to double check, if you have your instrument and you want to do it with me, feel free to do so. But the first thing I want you to double check is how tight is your bow. All right, so over here, if you can see up close, I'm going to put my pinky, okay, so this is the entire bow. I'm going to put my pinky in the middle. I'm going to show you up close. So when I put it through, you can see that the top of my pinky is touching the stick, and the bottom of my pinky pad is touching the hair. Now it's fit in there pretty easily, right? I'm not forcing it in, and it's definitely not too far apart where my pinky is not able to touch the stick and the hair at the same time. Okay, so you want to make sure that your hair is tightened to somewhere around there. Okay, if your bow is over tightened, it will make it harder for you to have your bow play on the string and have control over it. Okay, the tension will be too great for you to have a proper control over it. So that's the first step, is to just check how tight is your hair. You want to make sure it's just enough that you can fit your pinky in the middle of the bow. Okay, the lowest point. So don't do it here and don't do it here. All right. Okay, now the second idea for you to fix any bow bouncing is to make sure your bow starts from the string. And what I mean by that is a lot of times students aren't aware that they're starting from the air. So we call it from starting from the air. And they try to start playing their bow stroke while they're landing their bow at the same time. So kind of something like this happens. Right, so they get a little bit of that bounce, that's spiccato almost bounce that we don't want if we're just trying to play a nice long stroke, right? So here's the practice for you, is to place your bow, kind of drawing a little circle here in your arm. Okay, just kind of imagine you're doing a little circle like this. Okay, imagine you're doing a little circle. So you're going to do a little circle, and then you can place your bow down onto the string. Make sure you have enough control over it, and not feeling like you're barely holding your bow, and definitely not feeling like you're pushing super hard. Okay, just your arm weight, your natural arm weight, apply it on there. So let's do it one more time. So you can draw a circle, land, and now you're gonna play a down bow. Okay, that's one more time. So you're gonna draw a circle. Now, important thing to understand about the circle is watch how the bow is moving. Okay, it's moving with the arm, not like this. Okay, you see then the bow is not very still, it's not on the same angle anymore. You want to try to keep the bow on the same angle as you would play that A string when you do the lift. Okay? Alright, here we go. So draw a circle, land on the string, and play. Okay, so that's the second symptom for bow bouncing. It's a different. It's probably something that most of you experience, is where your bow is bouncing the moment you start playing. Now we're going to talk about bow bouncing, not in the way that you might think of, but it probably happens to some of you, and maybe you're hearing a shaky sound, and that's why you get kind of confused. So let me demonstrate for you. So this last symptom is when you are playing and your bow stick is kind of bouncing a little bit, kind of something like this. So watch this area right here very closely. So I don't know if you can see it up close, but the stick is moving back and forth really quickly. Something like this, right? And that's because the pressure or the arm weight is not quite consistent enough. Okay, so we have now we're just going to talk about how to just get a proper amount of arm weight and pressure onto the string. So once again, do the circle, land on the bow, and this time I want you to pay attention to your index finger, and I want you to apply a maybe 25% of power. Okay, imagine 100% being that you can press your bow stick all the way down to the hair like this. That's 100%. Okay, so I want you to imagine only 25% power. All right, and now once you have that 25% power, I want you to think about maintaining that 25% power as you play the stroke. I don't want that 25% to increase or decrease, but just maintaining the same amount. Okay, and you can watch that simply by feeling out the index finger, because that should be the finger that you apply that 25% with. Okay, so here we go. Okay, all right, so hopefully that helps you with that tiny little bouncing. And one last little tip for you, if you tilt your bow slightly forward like this, so this would be easier to look in the mirror. All right, so you should see something like what you're seeing right now for my bow around this area. So notice this is where I play with flat hair, right? But this is when I tilt my bow slightly. And tilting your bow slightly will ease up that much bow tension a little bit, and it will just give you a little bit finer tone, and less hair will also help in general. Okay, so let's do a quick review. Make sure your bow hair is not too tight. Very, very important. Okay, so about your pinky. All right, number 2 is to land your bow properly onto the string before you start playing. So get used to landing your bow, and then whatever it is you're trying to play, then you start playing. Okay, do not start the down bow and land at the same time. And the third exercise thing to watch out for is that index finger, a little monitoring the amount of pressure there is, because sometimes it starts to sound a little shaky and sounds like the bow is bouncing up and down a little bit because it's not consistent here. So make sure you're applying some sort of consistent amount of weight and pressure. And right now we're just going for 25%. You can experiment with it, going 30, 50%, but maybe not 100, because then it will definitely sound very scratchy for you. Okay. So yeah, so that's it for this video. If you liked it and find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Any comments, questions, leave it down below, and hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you for watching.